negotiations with Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper as they try to lock up their young stars. Yahoo reported that it's actually Stephen Jones, not Jerry Jones, that's now running the show in Dallas. Apparently, Stephen has been making all of the big decisions the last 3 years. One NFL agent said this: Jerry used to just pay everyone. Now he says all these nice things about a player, but Stephen ends up being the one who decides when and how they get their money, or if they get paid at all. Compared to Jerry, Stephen is so cheap, too. He doesn't want to pay big deals without a fight. Shannon, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing. Skip, I don't really have a problem with him being a tough negotiator. He should fight to hold on to the money. But for him to come out, you never heard Jerry say this. The guys have earned their money, but they need to take a discount. They need to give us a discount. Jerry paid, and in return, what he got for paying the guys the big bucks was undying loyalty. If those guys were injured in the slightest, they're going out there to lay it on the line for Jerry. There's nothing those guys wouldn't do for Jerry when it came to getting on the field and winning the ball game. In return, Jerry paid them handsomely. Stephen, on the other hand, he wants that kind of loyalty, but he's not going to get what his dad got, Skip, because, yeah, these guys, and he said it. Oh, these guys have earned big paydays. They've been unbelievable. But they need to give us a discount. That's not how Jerry did business.
That is not.
And Jerry was rewarded. Look, and people are like, well, they have a salary cap. The salary cap went into place in '93. So Jerry's been working on a salary cap for 25 years. Well, they say the last 3 years, Stephen and the rest of the article, Skip, has been running the team. So Jerry worked under the salary cap for 22, 23 years. So Jerry understands it. He found a way to get it done. But Skip, you know this.
Junebug, thank you for the super chat.
It's hard to keep everybody when you have to pay everybody. That's why you have to, prioritize.
Prioritize.
Times turn hard. Look, they're a necessity. I got to pay my rent, got to pay my car note, my mortgage. The first thing they got to go in a hard time is what? It's a luxury item. You know, the gym. I'm sorry, Skip. I got to cut that gym out. All of a sudden, I can't get my Manny and Penny. So you're going to have to prioritize, Stephen. I know you want to keep everybody, but you can't. You got to prioritize.
Can't.
No. This is not the way you do business, and it's going to come back to bite them, Skip. They're not going to give Stephen the loyalty that they gave his dad.
So, what does Shannon Sharp remind me of on almost a daily basis on this show? That undying loyalty has gotten Jerry how many Super Bowls lately? What's it been, since 1995?
It got him 3, though.
Whoa.
Got him 3 of them big
Got him
things.
3.
See, the last one came after the 95
Got him 3.
season. We're in 2019. I can't even do the math.
I want you to remember that.
Yeah.
I want you to have that.
I'm reminding you.
You know what I have to say? Shannon Sharp. Okay. Just sit your ass down on this. Okay, so here's the thing. We know for the last about 4 years, maybe 5 years, that Stephen Jones has been doing more and more of the Dallas Cowboys business. And thank everybody for joining us here on this Memorial Day. Hope you guys all had a great Memorial Day. Somebody was asking, what did I have for dinner? Actually, I got a cooking recipe. I actually did some fajitas. I'm getting back into keto again. I have put some weight back on, and I have to get in shape for training camp. Okay, so that way I can be eating there with Zeke. So we actually did some nice fajitas, some flank steaks on the grill and stuff. But be that as it may, I hope everybody got where they were going and back healthy and all that. How you doing, Jackie? Miss Jackie, how's it going? I see Stephanie. How you doing tonight? Dallas Dog, Charles Strong, Junebug. Thank you very much, Ari, for that super chat. Virginia Finest. I won't. You're right, Virginia. I got the shirt. I got to get this stuff sent out, man. Been busier than a 1-hour paper hanger. I see Sheila. I see Michael. I see Jonathan. I see Anita Taylor. How you doing, everybody? Okay. To Shannon Sharp's argument about the players not being loyal to Stephen Jones, because everybody knew Jerry Jones was going to pay people. Here's an interesting thing. In 2014, when the season started, the league year, in March, The Dallas Cowboys, with $126 million cap. That was it. That's all you could spend at 2014. Amazing how much it's grown since then. We were $23.2 million over the cap. Over the cap. And what did we have to do? We had to restructure Tyron Smith and Tony Romo. We had to go through and borrow money and kick that money down the road. It's okay because we'll just do the same thing next year. Because we had to take care of guys like Marion Barber. Because after being a part-time running back, we moved on from Julius Jones. After him having 975 yards and being a beast. Don't get me wrong. He was beast mode before beast mode was in the NFL. We gave him a $45 million contract. Then there was Brandon Carr, who we got from Kansas City, free agent. We gave him $50 million. Then there was Miles, I've got a pulled hamstring, Austin. After one really good year, we gave him $54 million. Jay Ratcliffe. Talk about loyalty. Jay Rat. Got a $40 million extension. Basically got $18 million and didn't play one single snap. How much loyalty did he have? He faked injuries till he could get out of Dallas and immediately went on to Chicago to get paid. Doug Free, 4 years, $32 million. Dez, 5 years, $70 million. And Terrence Newman got $50 million, .2, with $26 million guaranteed. You can't argue that Jerry Jones was loyal, and he paid people. But what did it get us? I'm only put Tony Romo's numbers in there either. Or DeMarcus Ware's. Can Redskins highlight call in? Redskins highlight, I tell you what, dude. Look for Skype, Cowboy Joe Boo, okay? That's my Skype name, Cowboy Joe Boo. So, with all that money that we spent on those players, how many Super Bowls did we get out of that one? How many? 0. 0. And unfortunately, here's the thing. Loyalty and doing the right thing and having players retire from your team is contrary to winning. Understand that when we started off last year, we had 19 million in cap space. This year we had like 45, as opposed to in 2014 having 23. So if Stephen Jones is tight with the money, I'm okay with that. Because here's the thing. New England isn't out there doing all these big extensions. The amazing thing is when we have discussions about players like Des Bryant, you never hear about that in New England. You never see anybody retiring in New England and getting a gold watch. What they do is they let you know you can be replaced. And I believe Bill Belichick, if he can get a trade for his mama, would trade his mama. And I know that's not good because, see, when I grew up, football was different. And I often tell you guys, go back and look at some old school football. Because when you were a Dallas Cowboy, you were a Dallas Cowboy. There was no free agency. There was no salary cap. There was none of this stuff. You had Redskins that were Redskins, and you hated them, and you had Cowboys that were Cowboys. And that's why it was grudge match. That's why it was, down and dirty. It was like war. Now, everybody in the offseason, man, hey, this is just a job, man. I'm a free agent. I don't care. I don't care if I play for the Giants or the Cowboys. Whoever's going to pay me the most. There's not that loyalty and stuff in there like it used to be. But understand, you have to have players. We had a great team in 2017, as long as nobody got hurt. But because we still had Tony Romo's contract, because we had Des Bryant's contract and stuff, and you paid all of these guys, Sean Lee, as your starters, what you had left over was peanuts to pay other people. And you have to understand that it's not just Sean Lee. If Sean Lee gets hurt, it's the next guy that's got to be just as good. So it goes counterintuitive to paying a whole lot of guys. And I'm okay with the whole idea of Jerry Jones being the face of the organization, being the good cop, and Stephen Jones doing the dirty work and being cutthroat. It's not great if you're an agent, of course. You know, I mean, think about Jason Taylor from Miami that went to Washington in his Hall of Fame speech when he said, "Let me thank Dan Snyder for allowing me to steal money from the Redskins." Because the Redskins were known as the team that you go to get paid from. They're loose with the money. They're always signing free agents. But what has it done for them? Oh, man, we aren't open for... Thank you. Didn't open up for business, and I didn't wake up the football gods up here. Let me wake up. There we go. The football gods. Thank you. You know, it's a holiday, man. I kind of messed up. I was letting the football gods sleep a little bit. But that's the problem, of course, with his whole argument. Because in the salary cap era, we haven't won any Super Bowls. We're just beginning to learn how to play in the salary cap era. We are way behind. Yeah, you know, I tell you what, you guys don't let me miss anything. But I want you to notice something now that I've brought the camera out. Do you see this? You see this number down here? We're down to 100 days, 23 hours, 2 minutes, and 34 seconds. I might have to do a special show tomorrow night just to see that clock drop from 100 down to 99. It's getting close, guys. And we've got mini camp coming up on the 11th. Can't wait. Now, in other news that we don't want to think about. Other news we definitely don't want to think about is Zeke Elliott. The NFL basically has said, we're going to look into the tapes and investigate Zeke Elliott. I'm curious if they're looking into the Robert Kraft tapes.
Did he agree to anything?
Oh, they suppressed the video.
No, I'm talking about,
the courts basically said that's admissible.
Is there an agreement between Robert Kraft and the NFL?
Doesn't matter. Listen.
It does.
Okay.
It does because he agreed to.
No, well, it's the difference of he's a rich owner and friend of the commissioners, as opposed to Zeke Elliott as part of America's team. So,
and he agreed to
Michael Anthony chiming in.
And he agreed to some paperwork, too.
But I dare say, though, I'm looking at some more things that are more egregious. Like I said, Montre Nicholson from the Redskins. If you look at that tape of what that guy did and wonder, why are we even looking at Zeke Elliott? Yeah, so all we can do is hold our breath, hope and pray that it ends up being nothing. That's all we can do. The NFL, of course, is judge, jury, and executioner. And they're beginning to do negotiation between the NFLPA and the NFL. And what the NFLPA wants to do is rein back some of that power from the NFL commissioner. Now, the NFL commissioner basically is signed on until 2024, and after that he's like, I shall not fight no more, I'm done. Well, Robert Kraft was charged. The question, he's not going to be convicted. He was already charged, so it's a court hearing. But they've suppressed the video evidence, which basically is everything. So, more than likely, nothing will happen to Robert Kraft. Zeke Elliott, what'd you say to me? You never know. He might get a suspension for a game. And we still have, of course, Tyrone Crawford with his situation. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that nothing else happens with that one. But an interesting take was Kris Richard. Kris Richard, I love him. The more I hear from Kris Richard, the more I love Kris Richard. Kris Richard had a chance to get a young safety. But instead, he said, you know what? I want Tristen Hill. Where's my clip? Tristen Hill. Oh, man. Where's my quote? Where's my quote? Ah. Okay, I lost my quote from Kris Richard. But Kris Richard was talking about John Jones. Thank you very much for the super chat. Where is it? Ah, here we go. Okay, we lost it here. There we go. Kris Richard quote. This game is won up front. It's a big man's game, Kris Richard said, according to Clarion Williams of Pro Football Talk. When you're able to get a player like that, we got one in Tristen Hill. He's a generational type of athleticism, just freakish ability in regards to his athleticism. It's hard to pass on a guy of that nature. And I don't like to put pressure on these young guys because, you know, we ended up talking about Randy Gregory, giving him Charles Haley's number and kind of anointing him as the next Charles Haley. Go away, Lipton? Okay. Oh, the voice. Sorry about that. I forgot and left the super chat on. You know, getting old to mess up.
You say the same thing about Des Bryant, too.
Well, Des at least played. Des played pretty good. He was not Drew Pearson. He was not Michael Irvin, but he played pretty good. He had the opportunity to. But I hate to try and... Yeah, I got it. I've got it. I turned it off. Okay, I'm getting old and forgetful. Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp was incredible. Hall of Famer. I believe 101 sacks from the tackle position. Warren Sapp was part of the engine that made that defense go. Warren Sapp was an absolute beast. I just want to show you some quick highlights here, just so you get an idea of what this big man did. When you see him at his size hit guys and keep doing what he was doing, he was a beast. You look at that push. Look at him get upfield. And that's what our team was missing last year. When we were playing against the Rams, we were playing against the Colts, and we were playing against the Titans, we did not have that big guy that pushed, that had that push up the middle, that guy who is going to literally make a quarterback piss down his leg. Warren Sapp was an absolute positive beast in the middle. And see, the philosophy for the Dallas Cowboys is beginning to change because of Kris Richard a bit. See, the Cowboys always looked at guys having the length. They like guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", that are about 290 pounds, which is good because they're fast. And if you look at how the Cowboys get most of their sacks during the season, a lot of it is actually through stunts. It's not just straight up, I'm just going to bull rush and I'm going to get and beat my man. It is me taking an inside route. We're doing a twist stunt. The tackle's going out. Or the tackle is basically taking two guys up and then opening up a lane, which works sometimes. But sometimes you get caught up in that. Sometimes you have to just have a beast, a gorilla, a guy who's just plain nasty in the middle that does all the dirty work. And that's what Warren Sapp was. He did the dirty work. He kept those linebackers clean because you couldn't just put one guy on him. You had to double team him. You had to worry about him coming up the middle. And if you got to double team that guy in the middle, you're telling me I'm going to have DeMarcus Lawrence when he gets healthy on one side on one-on-one. You're telling me I'm going to have Robert Quinn on the other one, and then you had a Warren Sapp pushing in the middle? How can you contact me? Let me... Okay. I can do this. Where's my graphics one? Pull, let's see. You can reach me. Let me see. Do I have it on there? Okay, it's not up on there. Sorry. If you actually, You can email me at cowboysmark94@gmail. Cowboysmark94@gmail.com. And that way you can get in touch with me. You're watching some Sapp highlights. Now that you've seen those, let me go ahead and show you something else. Because when you talk about generational, keep in mind what you just saw with Warren Sapp. Now I want you to watch Tristen Hill. When you watch that push up the middle, you watch that body type. You look at that guy with his hair on fire that's beating a man straight up. Bam. And just literally eating a running back. You see a guy who's relentless. Same type of guy. Same type of beast. And if we can get him playing anywhere near like Warren Sapp, and that's what Kris Richard meant when he's looking at this defense. He understands that if I've got a great front line, a great front seven, your back end is going to be that much better because they're not having to worry about holding up for 5, 6, 7 seconds. And when you look back at our Dallas Cowboys, when we've been in those big games, where have our problems been with Aaron frickin' Rodgers? Our problem has been is stopping those guys in passes, not getting pressure in late, or being able to hold up and against the run. So when you get somebody like this defense, this philosophy is becoming Kris Richard's. So he's getting these bigger cornerbacks and bigger safeties. He's getting bigger guys in the middle that can rush. He's getting speedsters on the outside. You're seeing this whole thing evolve. And the thing I'm going to tell you that scares me, the thing that scares me, without a doubt, is when you start thinking about teams like the Jets. When you think about teams like the Jets that don't have a GM, that are now making calls and looking for guys like that. When you think about teams that have, like the Jets, like Adam Gase, North Carolina's biggest Cowboys fan, thank you very much. When you think about these teams that are going to be looking around at success, if our defense is a top 10 again, if we take another step, you know Kris Richard is going to be a head coach candidate. He was already one. Teams wanted to talk to him, but he's like, nah, I'm okay here in Dallas because I think he wants to make sure he can pick the right situation as opposed to doing like most black coaches have to do, is just take the worst jobs, you know, where your chances of succeeding are slim and none. You better bet on the none. I think he wants to get his resume so good that he can say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take over, you know, New England, that kind of a job, or have that kind of pull. Because I believe what he's building with this defense, I think it's going to be special. But as I look at it, you know, he's high on Xavier Woods. We got George Iloka, who is a 6'4" guy. You know, Jeff Heath's about 5'11". But I still think Jeff Heath is going to have a role on this team. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do with George Iloka. We'll have to wait and see. But you can see as he drafted the Michael Jackson, another guy who's 6'4", he's getting these bigger guys that are fast, that are hit and roll. So Kris Richard, this defense, with Rod Marnelli taking these defensive linemen, I think you've got the perfect coaching structure, and you're beginning to get those right kind of guys. I'm just excited. I just can't wait for the season to get here. Hill coming off the bench, not bad at all. He's no Sapp. But you know what? What's funny is we don't really know. Like I said, I hope. I don't honestly know, but I tell you what, I will take Will McClay and Kris Richard looking at a guy and saying, I think that guy can play. Nobody's 100%. Nobody is 100%. Adrian, I'm not making excuses, but there's a difference when you go to an organization like New England versus going to the Cleveland Browns or the Arizona Cardinals or to the Raiders, teams that consistently lose on a regular basis. And I don't want to go ahead and get into racism and this, that, and the other. But when you have to go to Tampa Bay, your chances of winning usually aren't too good. So my point being is, yeah, Kris Richard might have been able to take the New York Jets job, but is that the job you really want? Because who succeeds with the New York Jets? Nobody's had too much success since early in the Super Bowl era with the Jets. Sorry, it's just not a great place to go coach. There are better coaching jobs out there. I mean, going to Pittsburgh, better organization than, say, the New York Jets. So I think Kris Richard will want to go ahead and be head coach of a place, say, like, I don't know, maybe Dallas? Or a place like that is an organization that believes in winning, as opposed to just saying, as long as we put a team out there, we're still going to get paid. Okay? So he's building his resume even bigger. But it's not racist. I'm not saying it's racism. No, hold on. I don't care if you're black or white. Your chances of succeeding with the New York Jets organization or going to Tampa Bay or the other places like that in Arizona. Arizona is a dumpster fire. They drafted a quarterback in the first round the year before they turned around and drafted as a number one pick. They're not a stable organization. If you are a coach, you want to go to a place that is not a stable organization? Or do you, like, let's say the Redskins? Do you think you have much of a chance to succeed with the Redskins, where the coach didn't know they were signing Collins until he heard about it from the media? If you have a choice of working there or with Pittsburgh, where would you rather work? Yeah, you can go ahead and get a job, but your chances of success aren't good. So if you're working, do you want to go to the company that's about to go bankrupt, or you want to go to the one that's been there forever that's always doing good? That's not the point. So don't give me scapegoating. I'm telling the truth. If you have a winning organization, or an organization that has a good GM, a good owner, and everything else, has great fan base and stuff, you have a better chance to succeed than you do with a piece of crap team like the New York Jets. The New York Jets took a coach that got fired from Miami and said, oh, we'll take that guy. Oh, he wasn't successful in Miami? We'll make him the GM too. How about that? What the hell? Seriously. My point being is, if I'm Kris Richard, I got a good gig here in Dallas. Why would I want to hurry up and leave this one to go to a piece of crap one? Carlos D. Laura, thank you very much for the super chat. What's up, Vosh? How you doing, man? These guys getting on me tonight, man. They're sitting here saying I'm scapegoating. Look, God. Did I miss anybody? Hopefully I didn't miss any. If I missed anybody on the super chats, I apologize. So don't get me started on race, okay? Because I don't want it. Unfortunately, whenever you bring up anything about race, it ends up being a fight. I'm not trying to fight, and I'm not saying that every black coach is a good coach, but you have situations where you go to Tampa Bay and you get 1 year to prove yourself. Chances of succession is not good. And so my point being is, if I'm Kris Richard, I've got all these young studs on this defense. I'm defensive coordinator. I'm on the Dallas Cowboys, the team that everybody sees. It's on TV all the time. I can wait. I can build my resume. North Carolina's biggest Cowboy fan. Apologize for missing that super chat. Okay, so sorry to get fired up on that one, but if I'm Kris Richard, I'm gonna wait till I get an ideal situation where I can be successful. So moving right along, okay. Let's talk about running backs. Okay, my daughter is calling. Mike, call Kayla and tell her I'll call her after the show in 30 minutes. Kellen Moore and John Kitna. I talked about, there was a gentleman who was talking about black quarterbacks. and he didn't talk about Warren Moon. And Warren Moon, and again, I'm not trying to bring race and all this stuff. Warren Moon was an incredible quarterback. Warren Moon couldn't play in the NFL, so he had to go to Canada, where he threw 21,000 yards in Canada. Then came back to the NFL and threw for 49,000 yards. Ended up throwing 4 times over 4,000 yards back in the day. An incredible quarterback. John Kitna backed him up for 2 years in Seattle. John Kitna learned a lot of his craft from being behind Warren Moon. John Kitna ended up being the NFL comeback player, and he was a decent quarterback. I'm not going to say he lit the world on fire, but he had some good years. He's been around and he knows football really well. In fact, I will say that Dak Prescott and this opportunity is the launching point.
She said don't call her.
Huh? Everything okay?
Yeah, she's on the date.
Oh, okay. She's on a date? Oh, okay. All right.
Don't.
Now I'm nervous.
Not too loud. Not too loud.
I almost forgot one thing. Okay, listen. We got 366 people in here right now. We have a new Cowboy fan in Cowboys Nation. Shout out to E2 Blue that just had a son on Saturday night. And what I want all of you guys to do is go through and subscribe to E2 Blue Entertainment and say congratulations to him for the baby and wish him well, okay? Because, you know, being a father is a lifelong thing. Hi, Mike. And my daughter's out on a date.
You weren't supposed to say anything. You said don't say anything on the show.
Yeah.
You said don't say anything on the show. You said don't say anything on the show.
If you're watching, buddy.
You said don't say anything on the show.
If you're watching, buddy. Okay. All right. Anyway, we're just having a little fun. But seriously, go over to E2 Blue's channel and tell him congratulations and subscribe to his channel, because E2 Blue, you know, he's a daddy now. He's got, everything changes when you become married and when you have kids. So thoughts and prayers go out to him. Shout out to Pelly Moon on that comment there. Too late, buddy. Michael Anthony is Dak.
Oh, man.
Robert Brazell was part of the team and a distant cousin. Okay, you're already there. Well, just go ahead and just say congratulations to him. Just show him some love and stuff, man. Who cares? Okay. I should do the alien voice to scare the shit. Okay, all right, that's funny. Thanks, South of Heaven, for putting that up there. But yeah, definitely go through and take care of my man, E2 Blue. Okay, so John Kitna is now hitching his wagon to Dak Prescott. You can see that if Dak Prescott, with what I've kind of told you guys before, the fourth year of quarterbacks always seems to be the year that they really take that next leap. If we see Dak Prescott throw for 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, and we make it, let's say, to the NFC Championship, John Kitna star is going to be rising. And when they've already been talking about that John Kitna could be a head coach candidate. You know, now the new wave of getting the younger guys to start coaching. When you look at what Sean McVay did coming from Washington, who thought that was going to happen? And I will also say, if you see this offense end up being a top 10 offense, which I think it can because it has the pieces that are there, you're also going to see Kellen Moore star rise. And Michael Anthony Fitness was one of those ones that said, you know, Kellen Moore could be the next one in line for Jason Garrett. So if you're Jason Garrett, you might be worried just a little.
John Kitna said I'm coming for Jason Garrett's job.
John Kitna said that.
Yeah, one of the interviews I remember he said that.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, this was recent.
I'm going to have to look that one up, Mike. I definitely have to look that one up. He's coming for... okay.
He didn't say those words, but it's out here to take Jason Garrett out or something like that.
Well, that's the big thing is, if you're Jason Garrett right now,
You got 3 people that take a job.
Yeah, you really do. You have 3 people that are definitely young. Okay, you have young people. And see, when you get to be my age and you work for a company and you see them hiring 20-somethings or people that are fresh out of college, you know that they're not going to be sitting packed. They're looking to say, you know what, let's off this guy, because I'm going to tell you, the longer you've been with that company, the more money you make and everything else. I don't know about that one, Kenneth. I will say this. The thing about Jason Garrett is a survivor. And it seems like every single time you think, this is it, Jason Garrett's gone. Because we had 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. They took the play calling away from him. And they basically said, you're on the hot seat. And what happened? Boom. 12-4, 2014. Tony Romo has the best year of his career. Des Bryant does great, you know. And, of course, the fall guy was the official for the catch, no catch. So, all of a sudden, Jason Garrett, he's the guy. And then what happened the next year? Well, Tony Romo broke his freaking back. And we went down the toilet, and we won one game without our quarterback. And so then it was kind of like, okay, Jason Garrett's on the hot seat. And what happens? Boom. Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott win the division, close to beating the Green Bay frickin' Packers again, and saves his job. And what happened this past year? Middle of the season, Scott Linehan's got to go. Who are the possible replacements for Jason Garrett? And what happens? The team turns around, boom, just enough to save his job. So I wouldn't be surprised if next year we go all the way, win the Super Bowl, and then Jason Garrett gets another contract. Now, the question for you is, would you be happy with that? You win the Super Bowl, but you keep Jason Garrett for, say, another 6 years. You win a Super Bowl, but you keep Jason Garrett for 6 years. How would you feel about that? Miss Jackie says, Kris Richard, Jerry let him in the war room to experience he had never had in Seattle. The Cowboys value his input in the draft. Yeah, Miss Jackie, you are 100% right on that. You could actually hear Stephen Jones even admitted it. This is the thing that actually I think is different about the Dallas Cowboys from where we were in past years. Before, it was kind of like Jerry Jones was just kind of doing his gut feeling. And, you know, in the draft, we would move up. We'd make wild trades and things like that. But after he got Will McClay kind of stabilized that. We stopped making those crazy trades for, like, Joey Galloway's or Roy Williams, or moving up to get the Glass Man. God, I can't even think. Jeez. Why can't I think of him? Cornerback. Jeez, I'm having a brain fog. I always call him Morris Claiborne. We moved up. We gave up 2 picks for Morris Claiborne. We stopped doing that. And that's where it's kind of like Stephen Jones had admitted, Kris Richard is helping us to figure out the type of players. We're changing the type of players we're looking for. And that's why Michael Jackson, like I was pointing out, is a 6'4" guy, taller, because he's getting input from the type of guys that you want. And when you compare that to, say, like the Washington Redskins, who they just sign players and say, here, coach, this is the guy you got. But that guy doesn't fit my system. Doesn't matter. That's the guy we wanted. So you're seeing that Kris Richard has a lot of pull in there. And that's one of those reasons why you feel like, or at least I feel like, that maybe he's being groomed to be the next coach if he doesn't get a coaching job with somebody else first. Because the Dallas Cowboys like to hire people that they know from within. Jason Garrett was already the quarterback coach and, of course, was part of the family when they hired him, being that he was a backup quarterback for the Cowboys. When they brought in Monty Kiffin, he brought in Rod Marnelli to take care of the defensive line. Well, they retired Monty Kiffin, and they advanced Rod Marnelli. So as you see this, the new EDP video just dropped. Okay. Good for YouTube. Good for EDP. Do I even want to know what it was about?
Probably not. His last one wasn't that good.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Is D-Ware coaching? Natasha, as of now, they have not offered him anything formal. He would like to have like a formal offer from the Cowboys. And thus far, we haven't heard any offer from the Dallas Cowboys for that. So right now, no. NFC East champions, Dallas Cowboys. Rex, I'm hoping that you're right, but here's the thing that's crazy about the NFC East is nobody has repeated since the Eagles did 3 years in a row, 2002, 2003, and 2004. Since that time, more times than not, you've had guys that have been in the basement that have won it the next year. And even having teams that have won the Super Bowl, the Giants twice and the Eagles, didn't come back and win it the next year. It's hard to win the NFC East back-to-back. But with that being said, I'm going to be a homer, and I'll get called a homer. I am a homer. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. But I look at this team in comparison to the Eagles, because let's face it, honestly, if you look at it, you got to say it should be a two-horse race. That's not to say that all of a sudden that, they get lightning in a bottle and the Giants all of a sudden come out from nowhere, because teams come from the basement to first place all the time. But when I look at the Eagles team, the Eagles are relying on a bunch of players that are getting older. When you look at Deshaun Jackson, he's not that young guy back in like 2011. He's in his 31, going up 32. I think he'll be 32 sometime during the season. You look at Jason Peters, and you look at some of the other guys that they have that are key players on that team that are in their 30s, that are a little bit older. You get older, believe me, I can tell you. You get those nagging injuries. You end up having those aches and pains and stuff like that. It takes longer to recover. You're not as fast as you used to be. And you have to wonder, are those guys going to be able to make it through that whole season? Because I look at these young pups that we have on this team. The guys that we have that are over 30, they're not really starters. I mean, you got Jason Witten. I think it's going to be more of a part-time role. You got Sean Lee. Sean Lee is, the strong side linebacker, which is only 25% of the plays. And then he's backing up Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch. You look at LP. He's a long snapper. He only plays a few plays a game. But when you look at the Eagles, their older guys are guys that are going to have to play a lot of minutes. And when they lose those guys, they're having to go to inexperience. That's an advantage that we have right there. Why does YouTube have to interrupt live streams to do commercials? Incognito, it's just, YouTube is just YouTube. So, I can't control that. You feel more relaxed about this season than last? Well, I don't know that I can ever feel relaxed. I tell you what happened for me over the last 3 years. Before 2016, it seemed like no matter how the game was going, we could be up big. I would always sit there and say, okay, how are we going to lose this game? I keep remembering in my head losing to Matt Flynn's Green Bay Packers after being up 26-3. I remember losing twice to the Lions after being up by like 21 points at halftime. I keep thinking about losing the catch-no-catch game in the playoffs, or Aaron frickin' Rodgers in the last second. And I would always think, okay, how are we going to lose this game? How are we going to lose this? But it's kind of changed. When we were playing against the Eagles and we were in Dallas, I was worried about the game because after you saw Zach Martin go down, after that fumble on the kickoff to start the game, and originally they gave the ball to the Eagles and then they gave it to us, I was worried. But I kept thinking in my mind, how are we going to win this game instead of how are we going to lose this? Because that's the kind of game that we would always lose. The Texans game was one of those ones that, oh, no, we're not all homers in here. Believe me, we got some trolls that'll come up in here. There's plenty of Eagle fans out there that are lurking. But for the most part, if you look at like the Texans game or the Redskin games, those were the typicals games where we'd have some crazy thing happen. The long snapper moved the ball, and so we backed up 5 yards and we missed a field goal. Or we would end up, deciding that we're going to take a long field goal and ice our own kicker and things like that. But we don't seem to make those mistakes as much anymore, which to me was kind of a turning point for the team that I feel really good about. And, as much as people talk about my quarterback, I got to tell you, I like it when we are down a couple of points, we got the ball, and we're going down the field. I feel good about having that guy on there. Oh, my God, Robert, I think Michael Gallup is going to take a big leap this year. I guess he's going to take a big gallop. You look at how he came on as the season went on, I think he's going to be great. And, of course, having Amari Cooper is going to get the lion's share of the attention because of what he did last year. You're going to see him more one-on-one coverage. And then if Randall Cobb, if that hamstring is healed, if he is in good shape and he's taking some attention, the problem for defensive coordinators will be, and this is why I think this offense will be a top 10, that offensive line is going to be markedly better than it was last year. Zeke's still going to be Zeke. Zeke has over 4,000 yards over the last 3 years. Nobody else is anywhere close to that. Okay? Now we've got wide receivers that can stretch the field. And if they can stretch the field, you don't have to necessarily make a lot of big plays, but if you have the threat of it, if you have to worry about if Amari Cooper gets past me, we're screwed. You've got to keep that on your mind. First half of the season, nobody, and I mean nobody, respected the Dallas Cowboys receiving game. They loaded up the box and said, you know what, I'm not worried about Cole Beasley getting more than 15 yards. I'm not worried about, Allen Hurns. They weren't worried about these guys. They were like, 8 men in the box. Stop Zeke, we'll shut the team down. But once you got Amari there, we scored 4 more points a game. We ended up having 60 yards more passing per game. It opened up everything for the whole offense. And that's where we're going to start out this year. And I think Kellen Moore and John Kitna, that they're going to end up teaching Dak Prescott better steps, better progression reads, quicker release, and they're going to have an offense that's going to be more open than what it was before. And I think you're going to see Zeke Elliott, I hope, see Zeke Elliott get the ball more in space than just straight pounding between the tackles. There's going to be times for that, but you also have to say, we're getting ready to pay Zeke big-time money. We want to make sure that we can get all of that money out of him over the years. We don't want this to be a 1-2 more year hit, and then that's it. So this is where you start being smart about how you're doing it. North Carolina's biggest fan. That's the only spot that I'm really worried about more than anything else, is actually kicking. Money Maher was good sometimes, and sometimes you kind of said, meh. And the Cowboys may be bringing in somebody else, for competition. There's going to be some other guys, and see what else is out there. Shout out to the Rio Grande Valley. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Kicking does worry me. And, as many field goals as we kicked last year, I'm hoping we don't need to kick as many field goals as last year. I'm hoping we're getting more touchdowns in the red zone instead of settling for those. I would like to see, as far as getting another kicker, I would like to see, I forgot. I'm an idiot, right? Let's see if I've got the number up on here. I forgot all about that. Let's see. Let's see if we can do this. Bam. All right, we'll take a couple if we can get them. Let me get this set up. All right. So I will try and take a couple calls before we get out of here. I forgot. I'm forgetful, guys. You guys got to let me know. And boom. I'm still getting used to the set here. If I could actually figure out how to work everything, it would actually be great. Tony Pollard. I'm interested to see Tony Pollard on the field, because Tony Pollard is kind of like what we wanted to get from Trayvon Austin last year, but I think he's more durable. I think he can be able to take a better hit, and that he may also be the end of Trayvon Austin on the team, because he can also be a punt returner. We know Dak's race. He knows that's why he's doubted. Okay. Corey, I'm hoping you're right. I think this offense is going to be a bastard to try and stop. And as you look at the offense, Steffi, it's like, when you honestly look at it, where do you see the weakness on the offense? I mean, there's always places you could have a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro and stuff on it. But from wide receivers to tight ends, quarterback, running back, you have some really top guys on this offense. And if they can get this whole thing meshed together and get some good play calling, the sky should be the limit on this thing. Because you can run on people, you can pass on them, you can do so much stuff with it. I'm comfortable with Maher cooking 45 plus, but anything under that, I'm on the edge of my seat. That is the truth. That's the weird thing on that one. You don't usually expect to hear that with your receivers. I mean, your kicker. Well, Randall Cobb will definitely be more explosive than Cole Beasley, and he can also play outside. He can be a running back out the backfield. Philly Cowboys, thank you very much for the super chat. Oh, and definitely salute all the vets. It's funny because sometimes people like to give me grief just to give me grief. I've been saying what Memorial Day is about, thanking all the soldiers who are no longer here and stuff. But I said, listen, go out and make sure you thank a veteran. Because for me, I want to be, I'd like people to remember when I'm dead, but I'd rather them say, hey, Mark, we really like you, while I can actually comprehend it and I'm still here. Mario Vasquez, thank you very much for the super chat.
Call from
James, you're on.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
James, you're on Joby Sports Report. What can I do for you tonight?
Hey, no, I was just calling to see about the Zeke Elliott situation. What do you think Zeke should do in this situation with after the bad boy investigation?
Well, here's the thing. The NFL is, of course, going to say they're doing their due diligence as far as Zeke Elliott goes, and they're going to look at the tapes and see what's there. The thing that worries you is that Zeke Elliott had to sign, of course, basically a document, legal paper, whatever you want to call it, saying that he will have no other run-ins with the law. Now, that's with the NFL, everything is up to interpretation. When you think about this, people say, oh, well, he wasn't arrested. They just put handcuffs on him. Well, that's more than what they did where he got suspended for 6 games. He was never handcuffed. He was never taken downtown. He was never charged with anything. And the NFL decided to do a 120-some page report, year-plus investigation. Now, you have to look at it and say, because when you went through that document, they talked about Boobygate, I call it, where he pulled the woman's top down, of course, the domestic violence and things like that. So it's not necessarily just that one event. They're going to look and say, you know what, we told you to keep your ass out of trouble, because you did this, this, and this, and now here you are in this one. Now, what you can hope for, or what I hope for at least, is that because of last year he didn't have any problems. When you looked at the stuff that he did this offseason with the kid from getting hit by the hockey puck, donating the money for the funeral expenses, that they say, okay, it's a little slip, just watch yourself and go on. So hopefully that's all it is. All right?
Yeah, that's all I'm hoping to.
Okay. Thank you very much for the call.
All right.
Okay, hopefully you guys heard that. I heard it in my ear here. So hopefully I got it right. If it did, then I think I've got everything working on the channel tonight. Darren, this is going to be it's going to be a bitch when they have to cut down to 53. There are going to be some guys that you're going to look at and say, we really want to keep that guy, or we definitely want to hopefully hope that guy doesn't get picked up by somebody else because we may need them. There's some guys that are going to get cut on this team that we're going to look and say, damn, I can't believe we cut that guy. Because, thank you, Alex. I appreciate you watching the show all the time, but be careful, man. I don't want you to get brain damage. But you got to look at some of these guys, and they're going to work and probably try and keep some of these younger guys and may get rid of some other guys.
Call from
Raymond Solis Jr.
Raymond, how are you doing? You're on the Joe Blue Sports Report. What can I do for you tonight?
Hey, what's up, Mr. Holmes?
Not too much. How are you doing?
Oh, nothing, man.
So what can we do for you?
Just wanted to say, what do you think about a three-headed monster at running back?
A three-headed monster? Well, you definitely want to have Zeke get the lion's share of the carries and stuff. And and Tony Pollard, I would like to see as a third down back try and prolong his career. We'll have to see how the other guys work out, but you don't want to try and do too many guys. I think, if you can get it narrowed down to about 2, you're in great shape. All right?
Yeah, much love to your family.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the super chat. Okay. Man, I got my hands all over everything. Mr. Truckee. Okay. Yeah, you guys are making me work hard tonight here. Now, I got to tell you, this is so much fun to go through and try and figure this stuff out and work on this stuff and to see this thing grow, to see all you great fans and stuff out there. And I need you guys to do one other thing. Like I said, go over to E2 Boo's page. Tell them congratulations for bringing in another Dallas Cowboy fan into the mix. Also, I want you guys to put your thoughts and prayers for Joseph Heatherly. His wife is feeling a little ill and stuff, and he hasn't been on here much, so make sure you keep him in your prayers.
Call from
Michael Claiborne.
to accept.
Hello, Michael. You're on the Joe Boo Sports Report. What can we do for you tonight?
Yeah, I just was thinking about the wild football drafted down the season.
I'm sorry, you got a bad connection with you. I couldn't understand what you said.
The undrafted wide receivers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Johnsons and the other one.
Well,
I can't think what it is.
Well, here's the thing.
Quick and fast.
Here's the thing. We have such a log jam with wide receivers and stuff. I mean, we've already got Amari Cooper. You've got, of course, Michael Gallup. You got Allen Hurns, which they want to keep, and so on. There's so many guys. It's going to be hard for those undrafted guys to really make an impression. I'm trying to think. I'm having a brain fart right now, but there's one that's his speed and quickness and route running ability has been really, really good. And it may be a case where he makes the squad and Allen Hurns doesn't, because one, you look at the money you'd save with them, and then you look at a younger guy that you could probably put into the mix and maybe put onto the practice squad. All right? Thank you very much for the call.
Call from
This will be the last one for tonight. Floyd Johnson.
to accept.
Floyd, you're on the Joe Boo Sports Report. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing great. It's Floyd Johnson.
So what can we do for you tonight?
And man, I just want to talk Cowboy football. You know what it is.
Which aspect of it?
My aspect is, first of all, I want to say I've been with you since your 4,000 subscribers.
Oh, man.
Before you talked about that, I've been around.
And you're still sane?
And I'm still here with you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the way it's been growing over the years. I'm constantly trying to upgrade and make it better.
Now, second of all, I'm from Washington, D.C.
Okay, so you're like me, one of those, Washington, D.C. Dallas Cowboy fans that have been giving the Redskins hell for all these years.
Right, but I live in Dallas. I've been living in Dallas for about 25 years now.
Oh, okay, cool. What part? Where in DC? What part of the area did you live in?
And then when I was younger, teenager, I came down here and been living down here.
Oh, nice. What part of the DC area did you live in?
History.
What part of the DC area did you live in?
Southeast, Berry Farm.
Okay. Oh, man. I tell you what, Berry Farms has changed a lot now. I tell you what, Berry Farms is looking a whole lot different than it used to. All right. So any questions on the Cowboys before we get you out of here?
Huh?
Any questions on the Cowboys you have before we get ready to get out of here?
For sure. First of all, hey, man, I can talk Cowboys all day. So I got a few questions.
Okay.
Okay. The first question is, we're going to talk about our quarterback.
Uh-huh.
First of all, I don't understand all the back talk about Scott.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best young quarterback that's been in the game in the last 20 years.
You get no argument from me on that one. We all know where I stand on that one.
And next, I want to talk about Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
Can we keep him out of trouble? Hey, I'm living out here in Dallas. I know how this police and how this place goes.
Yeah,
it is It is a tough place. You have to tread lightly.
I tell you what, I've offered to go ahead and say, you know what, I'll be the guy that goes out and I will grab you and pull you back when you're about to get in trouble and stuff. You know, I would like to see somebody just, people gave me a hard way to go. They're like, he's a grown-ass man. He shouldn't need a babysitter or anything like that. But no, you know what? You don't go out by yourself because you are not a regular guy anymore. You are Zeke Elliott.
That's right.
And right now, when people see you, they see a big target on your back that's got a dollar sign. Because if I can catch you doing something, if I can get you to hit me, if I can get pregnant by you, I'm getting paid. And he has to understand that everything that you do for the rest of your life, you have to act like somebody is watching because somebody is always watching. And you can't put yourself into a situation like that. So, all right. So I appreciate the call. We're actually in overtime here, so I got to actually get out of here. But thank you so much for being a watcher for so long. Like I said, I'm happy that you don't have brain damage from watching me that long.
Hey, I want to catch the next tailgate. I'm going to be watching. I will meet you. My name is OG Pro.
Okay, OG. Thank you very much, man.
All
right. All right, so that's going to be the end of the calls for tonight because it's actually over 10 o'clock, guys. It is getting late in here, and I got to get to my day job in the morning, but thank everybody for being in here. This was a ball. Hopefully I didn't have too many hiccups tonight. I think I'm finally getting the hang of it. But like I said, please go over to E2 Blue. Oh, and E2, oh, guys, oh, my God. E2 Blue's life is just changing like crazy because E2 got his hair cut off. His braids are gone. I'm serious. They're gone. Adrian, is my dad still a Cowboys fan? Hold on. We are 3 generations of Dallas Cowboy fans. Because, see, some of the stuff, memorabilia that I have in this place is I got it from my dad. I said, Dad, I really want it. This clock right here, this clock right here. Check this out. Actually, let me change the camera here. Look, you see this clock? It's an AM radio. This sucker still moves from time to time. I may need to change the battery. My dad's. I have a 25th anniversary bottle of Pepsi over there from my dad that's never been opened. Now, I don't know what the Pepsi tastes like inside of it. I don't think we want to open it up. But trust me, he's still a Dallas Cowboy fan. And the thing about this is, and this is going to piss off some people, I remember the way I defend Dak Prescott, I used to defend Tony Romo. And I know some of you guys find it hard to believe that I defended Tony Romo, but I did. Tony Romo, I was like, listen, he's not a choker. Tony Romo has more comebacks than anybody else during his time frames. Blah, 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 blah. Look at the defense. Look at DeMarcus Ware. When DeMarcus Ware, as the season goes on, he wears down. He does not get as many sacks in December and January. But my dad said to me, he said, son, Tony Romo is just not going to win a Super Bowl for the Cowboys. I said, no, Dad, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. What's going to happen? He said, no, son, I'm telling you, it's just not. He just doesn't have it. I was like, Dad, come on, Dad. No, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Well, as far as Dak goes, he's like, I'm not sure yet. He said, I'm not sure. He said, I'll get back to you on that one. So we'll have to wait and see. But my dad is still a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. And it's actually kind of sad because for me growing up, part of the joy for football for me was, well, being a Dallas Cowboy fan, there weren't many Cowboy fans around. That my dad with his cousins and uncles and things like that, they would always have, a $2 or a $5 bet and stuff like that. And when the Cowboys won, it was, the walk of shame when they'd have to come by and pay him or everything else. Or, Sundays we'd have everybody over. We would go from like our house to our Uncle Herbert's house or to Dade's house. We would go every week to somebody else's house. And the trash talking and stuff like that, the build up for the week and things. And hearing my dad on the phone talking about, how about them Cowboys and everything else, or the Redskins, that's what made football great for me. And I kind of miss that rivalry the way it used to be between the Cowboys and the Redskins. You guys that are younger will never understand how it was that literally the air was electric Redskins Cowboys week. It was just like something to behold. And I truly miss those days of football. And that's why I always tell you guys, go back, look at some of the old clips of football, and look at how violent it was. You looked at these guys. I mean, like Jack Youngblood breaking his leg, taping it up, and going back in. Ronnie Lott. Oh, Adrian Garza, thank you very much for the super chat. I like to get on your nerves, Mark Freeloader Jr. Okay. Come on, man. That's not even right. But when you think about these guys that were the forerunners that basically laid everything on the line so guys like DeMarcus Lawrence could get that $21 million a year and stuff, we need to not forget about those guys, because guys like Mark Gastineau, who played for the New York Jets, who got to 100 sacks faster than anybody else, right now, today, has got stage 3 colon cancer. And because the NFL doesn't have health insurance for these guys beyond playing football, they're doing GoFundMes to try and help pay for the medical bills. And when you think about what these guys do, and that's why I always am on the side of the players getting paid. When you think about what these guys do for our entertainment, that they're giving up the quality of life. Some of these guys are crippled after they leave. And it's really just for us to be able to have something to talk about. So enjoy football, but remember that these people are people too. And with that being said, it's time to turn down the lights, because this party's over. Thank you very much, all of my moderators, Miss Jackie Incognito, Stephanie, who am I forgetting? I'm South of Heaven, Brian SoCal, all of you great moderators. I appreciate it. Oh, we're turning down the lights. And now all I got to do is hit that button.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year start the same old thing again.